I'm Tyler Lorenz with the Environmental Services Department here at the town of Flower Mound. Today I'm joined by Catherine Wells, who's a commissioner on the Environmental Conservation Commission here at the town, as well as a certified master naturalist and master gardener. So Catherine, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so excited about this topic that let's just go ahead and jump in. First, can you explain a little bit what it means when we're talking about native plants?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure to talk about native plants. And when we say native plants, we're talking about plants that occur here naturally, that have evolved over the years. And they're survivors and they're thrivers here in our particular ecosystem. And when we say indigenous, that just means that they have evolved here naturally over time and they haven't been introduced here either accidentally or intentionally.
Awesome. So could you explain to us, why somebody might choose to plant native plants over non-native plants?
Great question, Tyler, with a lot of great answers. But for the sake of time, let's maybe talk about 3 key benefits to native plants. So first of all, native plants have co-evolved over time with the native insects that depend upon them. So that in turn supports wildlife and species diversity. A lot of our native plants are also considered keystone plants. That means they have a high degree of functioning in our particular ecosystem. And for example, our native oak species support up to 500 species of caterpillars.
Oh, wow.
And to put that into perspective, a little nest of Carolina chickadees requires 6,000 to 9,000 caterpillars just to raise those babies into fledglings that can leave the nest, which is a lot of meals and snacks.
It is. Wow.
And by contrast, a non-native like a crepe myrtle or a ligustrum supports no caterpillar species of which I'm aware, and they also offer little to no habitat value in the landscape. A second key benefit to native plants is water conservation. Because their root systems are so strong and deep and extensive, they hold the soil in place, which helps prevent erosion. And also they, in cases of extreme rainfall, like we just experienced here in North Texas, they help prevent stormwater runoff.
That's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
And then I would say a third benefit is the lack of maintenance. You don't need fertilizer for your Salvia farinaceae to grow and be happy here in North Texas. And because those native plants have co-evolved with those native insects over the years, even the ones that are considered pests, they've developed an innate resistance to those pests. And as you know, in a healthy ecosystem, that predator-prey relationship sort of keeps that in check and in balance, which reduces the need for chemical controls. So you can put aside your pesticides, your herbicide, you can do away with all the ides.
Great. So what is something else you might want people to know about planting natives?
Well, Tyler, this might be a little bit of an intangible, but I think native plants create a sense of place. When you walk into a landscape that's filled with native plants, you know where you are in the world. So for example, here at Green Acres, we know we're not in South Florida, but right here in good old North Texas.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us. I know we've just barely scratched the surface with native plants, so hopefully we'll get the chance to speak again. But in the meantime, we hope you've learned something, and we really appreciate you joining us.